No, yeah. Can we're going to ask kindly that everyone kind of move up and kind of move in. Camera, yeah, maybe these and the first couple would be great.
We're going to try to keep it.
Perfect.
I think you guys are okay right here.
Yeah, over to the, we want to use the first two.
Yeah, please come join us. We're just trying to make sure that
I know.
all right, we look like one big happy family.
But see, my family just first or second row. So that's
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're so grateful you're here, and only citizens should vote. Do you think that's a great idea? Especially now in our local Tucson City Council election, where 2 Democrats have run. There's only 19 votes separating them, and apparently we have some election deniers. Isn't it nice when a problem shows up on the other side of the equation? That's just me being silly. But I am so grateful. If you don't know me, my name is Kathleen Wynn. I'm the chairman of Pima County GOP. And I am so excited that this national tour decided to come through Tucson, Arizona. Absolutely, right? Yeah, please cheer. Sometimes we are the redheaded stepchild in Arizona. As you know, there's the Kingdom of Maricopa, and then there's Pima County. And so the city of Tucson and CD7 have elections coming up. And what I'd love to do right now is we have some elected officials. We have some people running for office. And I'd like to start with our city council election, and then go to our CD7 election, and then come back to LD17 elected official Representative Rachel Jones-Keschel. I'm going to say for those people that don't know, she's now really Rachel Keschel. And so if you are JL and J, can you make your way towards the front of the room? So I've got Janet Wittenbreaker and Jay Tokoff. They are running, yes, please.
What's your name again?
I'm so confused. I get confused. But I want you guys to know that right now, this election, we have 2 Republican candidates. I know that we still not have the majority, but wouldn't it be nice to have a different point of view on our city council? One that cares about the police, one that cares about fixing our roads, one that cares about getting rid of the fentanyl problem, which would help eliminate a lot of our homelessness. But policies make a difference, and it's time that we understand who's voting so that we can take our city council back. So between the two of you, who would like to go first?
Go.
I'll go. Okay. J.L. Wittenbreaker is running, J.L. Wittenbreaker is running in Ward 3. She doesn't know who she's running against yet. So it may be because we don't know who's voting. Fair?
Fair.
All right. Go ahead, J.L. Thank you.
How much time do I have? Because as a Republican, you never want to let a Republican talk without a time limit, or you all just might as well just stay seated and enjoy the ride. So my name is J.L. Wittenbreaker. I'm running for Ward 3. Now, as a candidate who was previously a candidate for mayor of Tucson, followed by Board of Supervisors, and now Ward 3, people say to me, why do you do this to yourself? And I tell them, because I love America, and I believe this country is saved one city, one municipality at a time. And we have lost our way, particularly in Tucson. And we need to engage our community. We need to convince them that they too can run for office, because after all, the government should govern at the consent of the governed, not the other way around. And so we need people to understand this is not a career choice. This is a sacrifice, and you do it to help your fellow friends and your neighbors and your community. And now, for those of you who don't live in the county, and I realize we're way out here in Marana, because trust me, I came from Tucson, so I know we're way out here in Marana, that what happens in this city doesn't stay in this city. And if you live out here in Marana or Oro Valley or Green Valley, you know your water rate went up. You pay a higher water rate than the citizens in Tucson. Do you know why? Because they've overspent all their tax dollars and they know you can't vote for them. So I ask you to realize that. And with that, I ask that you contribute to my campaign. The website is easy, Janet4, Tucson.com. I ask that you come out and volunteer with us to knock on doors. For those of you who may be afraid to knock on doors, don't be. Most people are like you and me, and they want a prosperous life. Come knock on doors with us, come call. I ask you to support Jay Tolkoff, Dan Gutierrez, all of our candidates to help us turn this town around. Again, my name is J.L. Wittenbreaker. Come join the fight. Get ready, because we're not going to stop until the fat lady sings. Thank you. God bless.
I've said this way too many times. Following Janet, I always let her go first because that's what my parents told me to do with women, let them go first. But she usually covers all the bases, and it usually leaves me struggling for what I'm going to talk about. And the other thing is I came here to be entertained. I didn't know I was going to talk. So anyway, my name is Jay Tolkoff. I am running as the Republican for City Council Ward 6. And people ask me, are you doing this because you really think you can win? And I say, I don't just want to win. I have to win. And I say that because I've been in Tucson for 50 years, and I've watched it do a steady decline. And it isn't getting better, and the people that are on the opposing side aren't going to make it any better. It'll continue to get worse, and I really don't want to leave. So if I don't win, I'm actually contemplating leaving the place that's been my home for 50 years by choice. So like I say, I have to win. And the other thing is that as a Republican in a community where it's 22% registered Republicans and 42% registered Democrat, people say, you don't have a chance. And I say to them, you need to change your attitude. And, no, thank you. Because the long and short of it is if you're a Republican and you're saying to people, I like these people, but they don't stand a chance, that's like going out on the football field for the big game and going, we're going to get killed. Nobody does that. Everybody gets revved up for the game, and they go out and they play their best. So you people that don't live in Tucson, you are just as important. You deal with people that live in Tucson. You deal with people that vote in Tucson. You probably have friends that live in Tucson if they haven't escaped yet. And it's important for you to send a message to them that we don't give up. We need to actually get out there and endorse these people, support them, volunteer, donate, jt4ward6@gmail.com. You know, it takes money, it takes time, and it also takes you out there communicating to your friends, we actually have a chance this time, and we do. And I will say this, fortunately for me, I've got a candidate that is so radical that even the Democrats are reaching out to me and saying, we want to support you. The problem is they say, we can't say it publicly because we don't want to lose our jobs. That's how bad it is in Tucson. The corruption is out of control. And I'm retired. I don't have to worry about a job. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing it for the glory. I'm doing it because I don't want to move. So I ask you to do your part, whether it's volunteering, whether it's sending a couple bucks, or if it's just out there telling people, pay attention, this is an important election, and we can start to turn Tucson around. Jay Tolkoff, Ward 6, thank you very much.
It's a start, and we can do this. And by the way, there's independents, and the independents aren't happy with the Democrat platform. So it's a math problem, but the math is on our side. And we know this because 414 just happened, and we turned out 70%, and we said no to Regina Romero on her tax increase. So the numbers are there, and we can get it done. So I appreciate Jay, I appreciate Janet, and please support them any way that you can. Congressional District 7. Another story of Democrats outnumbering Republicans. However, it's the border. Did we not just secure the border? Do we want to open that border wide up? Do we want to fund NGOs? Do we want more money to go to facilitating illegal immigration into our state? No, we don't. And Daniel Gutierrez was just made it through the primary. He is representing us on the Republican side for this congressional seat. Over the weekend, his opponent, Adelita Grijalva, Raul Grijalva's daughter, that seat is not the Grijalva seat, it is the people's seat, and we shouldn't forget that. But she was endorsed by Hamas. Is that a problem for anybody in this room? Yeah. They want the annihilation of all Jewish people. Has anyone looked at the makeup of the people that live in the city of Tucson? Do they even know? She is so radical and so extreme, and she wanted open borders. She facilitated illegal immigration into this city, which has caused so many problems for us. And the criminal enterprises are still here, and the voters are still maybe on our rolls. So this is so important for an election, not only our city election, but for our congressional election in CD7. Daniel Gutierrez, please.
Hey everybody, I'm Daniel Gutierrez. I'm running for CD7 here in the special election to fill Raul Grijalva's seat, and I'm running against his radical daughter. And let me tell you, I had no idea how radical she was till yesterday. I actually wound up in a forum that I thought was going to be about something totally different than it wound up being about. And they were all about sex changes on children, boys in the girls' bathroom, and attacking Trump because his administration wants to get rid of the term gay marriage. Okay? None of those have anything to do with the issues that are plaguing our community right now, but it's the issues they want to run on. It's what they want to make the race about because they have nothing else to run on. That's all there is to it. It's hate Trump, we're going to fight Trump, Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that, and I'm done with it. The reason I decided to run Wasn't because I wanted to be a politician. I'm a painting contractor. I'm very happy as a painting contractor. I've always wanted to be a contractor. I always wanted to have a ranch. I have both. So I had no desire to do this, but our community has gotten so bad under the Grijalvas that I decided to step in the race. I looked at the numbers, I did the math, and the one thing that I saw over and over, and I know as growing up, I was born and raised here in Tucson. Tucson is a good old boy town. It was going to take a Hispanic born here to win it, to beat Grijalva. So I decided to run. My family's been here since the 1800s. I am Hispanic. My mother was Irish. And I kind of threw that up. And Adelita went at the Saturday, she went at the forum about how they're pulling over people that look like her. And I said, well, you know what? They're not pulling over people who look like my family, because my family was all in the front row, and it was awesome. Because she can't play that with me, because I am Hispanic, and this is my home. And I know they say there's 2 to 1, but let me tell you something. I'm not running to represent just the Republicans, and I've been telling them, the Democrats, I'm running to represent them, because most of them haven't had any representation either. And many of them are beginning to acknowledge that and recognize that, and they're looking for leadership. Someone who will at least hear their pleas. We know what it's like as Republicans under Grijalva. He never represented us, ever. Not in any case did he ever represent a Republican. He only represented the far left, and that's all his daughter will do. Anyways, I'm Daniel Gutierrez. I'm running for CD7, and you can go to my webpage, buterresforcongress.org, and donate. Thank you.
So when is the election for CD7? September 23rd. Is it in November? No. That's everybody. If you're here today, you've got to go tell 10 friends that live in CD7. You got to find 10 friends if you don't have them, and let them know the election is September 23rd. Early ballots. Come to the office and make 10 phone calls. We've got a great phone system that Daniel purchased for his campaign. Next Wednesday, early ballots go out for his race. Let's overwhelm. Let's make it too big to rig. Daniel, thank you. I'm just so proud of these candidates. Whew. It's hard to be a candidate. It's hard to stand out there every day and take the crap from the other side. It's sometimes to take crap from your side. And so it's important that we stand up, but this is so important because our ability to vote and have a voice, so many countries don't have that. And what's so ridiculous is the other side are standing for communism and want communist values. And people in communist countries really don't get to vote. It's kind of the definition of insanity. One of the other places that can be a little bit insane is our state legislature. And our representative fights a good fight. She is a Freedom Caucus member. She is the voice for LD17, and right now she shares her seat with a Democrat. Boo, yes, Cory McGarr is standing in the back, and we miss him terribly. But we love our representative, Rachel Keschel. Please come up. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I didn't know I was speaking either. She sprung this on me. So thankfully, I wing it anyway. So I am so grateful to be here with you. Who would have known that in our wonderful country, the United States of America, we would have to have a bus tour declaring that only citizens vote? And what a radical concept that citizens with ID vote. So these are the types of things we've had to fight, especially after 4 years of Joe Biden and the disaster that he was. Who is thankful that we have our president, wonderful President Trump, back? And he is just unstoppable, watching him with everything that he's already done in such a short period of time. Now, one thing I will say is he's not going to be around forever. So we have to figure out how to continue to move forward and fight this fight without him. Now, thankfully, he's leaving us a very solid foundation to do that from. But those of you that are here, and always when I come to these events, you are the ones that are very involved. You're paying attention, and it is up to you to go to your friends and neighbors and make sure that they are paying attention as well. Because in my opinion, from what I'm seeing and talking to voters, the Democrat Party is dying. And so we need to keep putting our foot on that neck and just choke it to death, because the DNC, their fundraising is way down. I can tell you that Democrat colleagues up at the Capitol said they cannot recruit PCs. I mean, they are struggling to get anybody on their side. And just in everyday personal life, Seth and I were just at one of my doctor appointments, and he absolutely loves to harass the front desk lady because she's a Democrat. And she looked at him today and said, "Oh, I'm coming over to your side really quickly." So that is good. Yes. But they got too crazy, the Democrats did. And so we just need to keep letting them do their damage, and we need to keep fighting for all the wonderful things that we believe in freedom in this country. We do believe that our elections need work. That is still an idea that 2/3 of Americans, and growing, believe that our elections are a mess. And so it's very exciting to see that President Trump and his administration are very serious about getting our elections squared away. Because if we don't trust our sacred right to vote, what do we have? That's how we choose our government. So many of our government officials have forgotten that they serve us, and they expect you to bow down and kiss their feet and kiss their ring like it's the other way around. Well, I'm here to remind you that's not the case. Your elected officials serve you, and if you're putting someone in there that doesn't, get them out. And as we get elections free and fair, you'll be able to do that again. And President Trump, he's been out there this week talking a lot about mail-in ballots. I agree with him. Mail-in ballots is how a lot of fraud is being inserted into our elections. And so we have to go ahead and fix our elections, not the way they've been fixed. And so that's one of the things I've been fighting for up at the Capitol. I'm always very honored that you continue to support me and that you put me back up there. It has not been the same without Corey. I can tell you, really boring. It's just boring without him. So he always kept the humor there, because it is a fight. You know, unfortunately, you are fighting your own Republican colleagues a lot of the time, and of course you're fighting the Democrats. They don't hide who they are, but some of our Republicans do. So it is very important, these local elections that are coming up, CD7, we have to capitalize off of the fact that the Democrats are sick and tired of their party letting them down. They are, a lot of them. And in 2026, we have a very important governor race, because we have got to get Katie Hobbs out of there. Who's impressed with Katie Hobbs? No, she has an extremely low favorability rate for a reason. She is the veto queen. And we even put reasonable legislation on her desk, and she vetoes it. Good water policy, veto. Everything, she vetoes. So we've got to get her out of there. We've got to keep the legislature. We've got to get 2 Republicans in those seats in LD 17. I'm going to tell you, it was a total sham. It was. LD 17, I have to say this, right? No, I'm just kidding. The numbers, we were like one of the only anomalies in the entire state in 17. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Pima County Recorder is a problem. We wrote her inquiries, making sure she was following the law. We had a voter from 2022 move to Texas, and when she checked her mail-in ballot here, it said that it was awaiting signature verification. The date that she changed her address in Texas, someone requested her ballot in Arizona. So how often is that happening? And we don't know. So when we inquired with the Pima County Recorder, crickets. Continue to be crickets. Just let us know what you're doing with the undeliverables. Oh, the post office must have shredded the ballot. because told my voter, keep pushing, that's your property. So there are a lot of things that need to be corrected in Pima County, and I will tell you, my husband Seth and I have been working behind the scenes with Representative Alex Colladin. We do have contacts at the White House, and it sounds like the evidence we have against the Pima County Recorder is going to be pursued. So we just have to keep moving forward one step at a time. We need to work together, keep fighting, and we need to, I know it seems like we're always doing this, but 2026 is just around the corner. Obviously, let's get Dan in there soon, but we've got to start fighting. And grassroots, you all, that is who supports me and gets me into office every time. The lobbyists hate my guts. I wear that as a badge of honor because you don't elect them. Yeah, who in here has ever elected a lobbyist? Nobody. So I fight for you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your encouragement. $5, $10 a month helps more than you know. And my link is www.donatetorachel.com. I function off of the grassroots donations, and I am so honored by that and humbled by that. Thank you all for coming today. It's good to see you. Seth is raising his hand.
Who's raising their hand? Your husband? Oh, sign up. No, go.
So I am doing my campaign a little bit differently this time. I've always been very accessible to my constituents. I give out my cell phone number. I get calls sometimes all day long. That's okay. That's the part of my job I love. But I'm doing a lot on Substack. And so I'm planning on doing two. They're called lives on Substack, but it's like Zoom. I'm going to do town halls every other Sunday afternoon where you can actually get on there and ask me questions, direct questions. And then I'm going to put out a newsletter that way too to keep you up to speed on what I'm doing at the Capitol.
What's your Substack?
So just look up Rachel Keschel. It's called Reclaiming the Copper Dome. Rep Rachel, what is it? Rep Rachel. Sorry. Yeah, R-E-P Rachel, R-A-C-H-E-L, .substack.com. Okay, thank you.
Rep Rachel. Go ahead, say it again. Go. You can sign up. I signed up online today on my Gmail. Yeah, you can sign up. I'm a subscriber. Seth, I'm a subscriber. Okay, you can't hassle me in the parking lot. All right, so the whole reason we came today is we understand that only citizens can vote. We know we have problems in Pima County. How do we know that? Adrian Fontes spent 2 years here training our recorder. That alone should tell you that the corruption in the Secretary of State's office is now in Tucson. We know that because bad ballots went out in the city council election. We know that because we have people on our voter rolls that shouldn't be there, people that moved to Texas. And we know that people that are not U.S. citizens are registered to vote in Arizona. I just want to say thank you to this bus tour for coming, for putting Tucson on the map. I believe, like Rachel, that the feds are going to expose the corruption in the state of Arizona. How many believe that 2020 was a stolen election? Amen. It was. I'm an election denier, and I'm dang proud of it. So, it's nice to see, finally, that the Democrats are coming along because they're starting to see the cost of extremism, of communism, of socialism, and of fraudulent votes. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Jenny Beth Martin, who is here with the bus tour and is making this trek across the nation so that we can get the SAVE Act passed, because somebody who is not a citizen should not have the right to vote. The Founding Fathers, as we head into our 250th year, would be appalled at what's happening in our country right now. So it's time to take back our freedoms. And Jenny Beth Martin, thank you so much for being here. God bless.
Thank you very much. What a great group of local people who are doing amazing work here. So thank you all for being here. Thanks to those who stepped up and spoke, even though you did not know you were going to. And we are here because we want to pass the SAVE Act. We want to make sure that we require proof of citizenship to register to vote. Now, I know we're in Arizona, and I learned a lot about Arizona, so you guys already have to do that to vote in your state and local elections. A lot of states around the country do not. And you are already aware of the Supreme Court case that happened because of your law in Arizona, that the Supreme Court said you must accept the federal National Voter Registration Act form, which is a motor voter form that says you just check, I am a citizen, and that's good enough. And now you've got your ballots with everyone, and you have the ballots with the federal offices, President, Senate, and Congress. When I learned about that, my mind was blown. I thought that was the craziest thing. I couldn't believe that that was going on. I learned more and more about the issue, and last year, working with Cleta Mitchell from the Election Integrity Project, and Congressman Chip Roy, Senator Mike Lee, and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, we worked to write and introduce the SAVE Act, and it has passed the House twice. And that act is pretty simple. It cleans up the National Voter Registration Act to get rid of that loophole that causes your state to have two different kinds of ballots, and requires across the country anyone who is registering through the National Voter Registration Act, through motor voter, through their local driver's license in licensing office, to show proof of citizenship to register to vote. It's so simple. Over 80% of Americans agree with us on this. They want to know that American citizens are voting in American elections for our American president and our American senators and congressmen. It's common sense. And over 80% of Americans agree. Over 80% of Americans agree with showing proof of citizenship to register to vote. This bill has passed the House twice, last Congress and this Congress, but it has not been taken up in the Senate. So as we went through the One Big Beautiful Bill, we realized that the SAVE Act could not be attached to the One Big Beautiful Bill. That bill used a process called reconciliation, and that reconciliation process allows the Senate to bypass the filibuster. So you don't have to have 60 votes to bring a bill to the floor, and you don't have to have 60 votes to get the final vote on the bill. You only have to have 51 votes. Because you're bypassing the filibuster, you can only do certain things, and those things deal with the budget. They cannot be policy. Well, this bill is policy. It's a policy bill. It isn't a spending bill. It doesn't have a major impact on the budget. So it wasn't allowable in the Senate. So I thought it through, and I realized maybe what we could do is attach it to what is considered must-pass legislation. Must-pass legislation are bills that Congress passes, members of Congress feel like they must vote for them, because if they do not, their constituents are going to get mad. So the kind of bills that those are ones that fund the government, because members of Congress do not want to shut the government down. Now, sometimes I want to shut the government down, but members of Congress don't want to do that. And they also want to pass other bills like the National Defense Authorization Act and a few other kind of bills, a farm bill. They feel like they must pass those. If they don't, their constituents are going to get really angry, and it will have negative consequences for them. Since that is what goes on, and I understand that's how things work in Washington, I reached out to a few members of Congress. They agreed with my thinking that we should try to get the SAVE Act passed to a bill that must pass. And we're going to see that happen in September. It happens every single September, except sometimes in an election year they'll finagle things so they can do it after the election. But we have the end of the fiscal year for the United States government on September 30th. 2026 for the United States government's fiscal year begins October 1st. Congress is out this entire month, but they come back in September and they have to pass some sort of bill that will fund the government. And if they don't, there'll be a government shutdown. So we are trying to get this bill, the SAVE Act, added on to one of those kind of bills. It'll either be an appropriation bill or a continuing resolution. And that's our goal. So we decided 8 weeks ago, 8.5 weeks ago, to tour the country and do a bus tour, and we started on Monday. So we pulled this all together very, very quickly because we knew we had to act during August, during the August recess. And the first half of the year, we spent most of our time working on the One Big Beautiful Bill and helping get it passed. So now what we're doing is what you're seeing here. We're taking the bus across the country, we're educating people, and we're going to ask you to go educate other people as well. We have several calls to action. I'm going to let Marissa Hamilton from Easy AZ speak in a few minutes, and she'll talk about those calls to action. And then we end the tour on September 10th in Washington, D.C., and we'll have a rally that day on Capitol Hill. But the main purpose of being in Washington, D.C. is the petitions that we'll be asking you to get people to sign that you saw when you first checked in, and you checked on your sign-in form, you checked a box saying your name could be added. We're going to be taking all those names and the petitions and delivering them to senatorial and congressional offices on the Hill, and just making sure the senators and congressmen know we want this bill passed. It isn't a game to us. We want to protect our elections. We are American citizens. One of our most precious rights as an American is the right to vote, and we want to ensure that Americans are deciding who runs our country. So that's our goal, and that is our purpose. Today, I have a few other speakers for you who are going to talk about the things that we are doing, and then I think we'll probably have time at the end. After Marissa speaks, we'll probably have a little bit of time. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them, and just make sure you fully understand. So when you go out and help us spread the word to other people, you are fully equipped and understand the issue well. And then when we finish in here, we'll let you grab a t-shirt on the way out. We've got free t-shirts. They're really cool t-shirts, but we've got 2 different colors and 4 different messages on the t-shirts. Pass the SAVE Act, and then there's some that say demand only citizen voting, stop illegal voting, and only citizens vote. So we have different t-shirts. You can pick one up as you go out, and then we'll go out to the bus and do some cheering and get some video around the bus as well. And if you want to have your photo taken by it, I believe we have a professional photographer back there who's helping us out today, and we can have him take those photos. So that's kind of what we're doing in the summary of it. Now, I'd like to have a few other people come up and speak. The first one is a former state rep, Corey McGarr, who is part of the State Freedom Caucus network, right? So the Arizona State Freedom Caucus. And the State Freedom Caucus network has been partnering with us, and State Senator Jake Hoffman from up in Gilbert and Chandler, he helped us in Arizona tremendously. He's also your national committee man, so he's at the Republican National Committee meeting right now. But anyway, I really appreciate the work that Jake Hoffman did to help us. Come on up. Thank you so much, Corey.
So it's been a little bit. I was listening to how you clapped for Rachel and clapped for me, and I just want to say thank you for clapping louder. I'm glad that I got to follow Jenny, because after I listened to Rachel, I'm like, I'm gonna have to wake these people up. Rachel's a good friend of mine. We went through plenty of battles together fighting for liberty. I do regret that she's there fighting alone. But, help her, support her. Please give her money. Like, we need this in the campaigns. Help her out as best you can, even if she is boring. I do love her. I really do. Guys, this is a kind of a crazy scenario. This says only citizens vote. I have no idea why this is controversial. I heard that the Trump administration wanted to push this early on because they thought that the longer it waited, the less likely they'd be willing to take it up. That means you've got slimy politicians that as it gets closer, they're not willing to support this. This is the simplest thing. Like, okay, wait, let me ask, can I make the joke? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. She's saying, okay. All right, so here's the thing. I looked into this poll, and I was trying to figure out, like, only 80%? 80% of the people wanted only citizens. And so I looked into the details of it, and the actual poll said, do you find this to be a problem that only citizens would not be voting? Or how is it exact? Only citizens should vote, or it would be a problem. And 80% said, yes, it'd be a problem. And I looked at the 20%, and it said, es no problema. Stupid joke, I know. But thank you. So guys, this is kind of simple. The Democrats had a plan. They were going to flood the country with illegal immigrants. They were going to register them to vote, and they were going to be in power in perpetuity. That was the plan. They didn't see the groundswell of the rejection of Democrat policies. Otherwise, this would go on forever. Millions of illegal immigrants coming in and registering to vote. And then the question's like, well, is it really making a difference? Could it have made a difference? Well, in 2020, Trump lost, right? Air quotes. He lost by 10,000 votes. How many federal-only voters who did not show proof of citizenship were on the registration rolls? 17,000. That was in 2019. What is it now? 46,000 as of July. They can swing elections with people who can't show citizenship or specifically their residence. They can't actually prove they're here. Or both. That is crazy. That was their plan, and it didn't work out. So, at the end of the day, elections and election integrity is the civil rights issue of our time. If we can't actually have the right to elect our representative government, we don't have the nation that was founded. This is worth fighting for, and God help the representative that gets in the way. That's where you guys come involved. Any representative that even shows a slight inclination to being hesitant to this, we need calls, primary threats, go for it. Tell these people we're not going to stand for this. This is simple government. So we need you guys to get involved. That's what these are for. Get out there, knock on doors, tell people, make sure you get everybody involved. But that is all I have to say, and yes, please vote for Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corey. Thank you, Corey. Okay, our next speaker is Chris Shimolinski, who is from the Immigration Accountability Project. They are one of our coalition partners and are really strong on making sure we don't have amnesty in this country and that we have government that enforces the immigration laws on the books. So please welcome Chris Shimolinski.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out and supporting this important issue and demanding that we get legislation passed that only citizens can vote here in the United States. Such a simple concept, as all of the previous speakers have said. I want to thank Tea Party Patriots for hosting this bus tour. Again, my name is Chris Shimolinski, president of the Immigration Accountability Project. We're one of the partners to the Only Citizens Vote Coalition, and we got involved with this issue simply because, why not? It simply makes sense. And our nation's immigration policy does drive the number of non-citizens that currently reside in the United States. We saw that number swell to more than 30 million non-citizens living in the United States under the Biden administration, mostly due to their policies. There were three primary categories of folks that were in the country that were not citizens. That would be your green card holders who are on a path to citizenship and could eventually become U.S. citizens. And then you have your temporary visitors. This is mostly comprised of guest workers and foreign students. And then, of course, you have the people that are here illegally, illegal aliens. And what we saw the Biden administration do through their policies by granting most people who are coming to this country illegally parole or temporary protected status, it allowed those individuals to obtain a work permit. What happens when you get a work permit and you get a job? The IRS wants their cut, so they're going to issue you a Social Security number. Combine that with the fact that we have nearly 20 states across the country that give driver's licenses to illegal aliens, including every single state that borders the state of Arizona. So you guys are the good guys. But all the other states, the other 5 states also grant or will grant driver's licenses to illegal aliens. Those 2 documents alone, a driver's license and a social security number, makes it easy to, as Jenny Beth mentioned, fill out the federal motor voter registration form and get your name added to the voter rolls. This was the Democrats' plan, to bring in as many illegal aliens as they possibly could, give them the documents necessary where they would be able to register to vote, and by the time we were able to react to it, it would be too late. But as has been mentioned before, it backfired on them, and President Trump won the last election. I think the Democrats just kind of took it one step too far. So we really need this legislation passed. It would require, in every single state, proof of citizenship, document proof that you are a U.S. citizen in order to register to vote, and it also would ask the states to clean up their voter rolls, which we're already seeing many of the states do currently. So again, thank you for coming out. Please spread the word that we need to pass this legislation, pass the SAVE Act. And again, thanks for showing up. And I'm going to turn it back to Jenny Beth to give you to get you your action items for the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Chris. And now we're going to hear from Marissa Hamilton, who is with Easy. I knew I was saying that wrong. Easy. It's easy for you. And she's going to give you the call to action, or most of the call to action. I may add one other thing onto it, and explain some of the issues that are facing you here in Arizona that are unique to Arizona.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm so thankful for all of you being here. This is a packed room, and that's great because it's later in the afternoon. It's a little bit before people get off from work, and so that shows your dedication to the issue. I personally believe that election integrity is the #1 issue that we face here in Arizona because everything flows downhill from there. And I come from Maricopa County, which sometimes is worse than Pima. I don't know. We're kind of in a competition of who sucks more when it comes to election integrity. Rachel Keschel and I are constantly comparing notes on that as to who's worse. Well, I don't know. The only hope that we have is that we were able to fire the previous county recorder in Maricopa County, Stephen Richer, and we now have Freedom Caucus Justin Heap as our county recorder. So election integrity is something I'm very passionate about. But I think that the simplest and the most important of all and the highest priority we have is ensuring only citizens vote. Now, who here knows about our Arizona laws that require proof of citizenship to vote? Did you know that we don't have full, real proof of citizenship? This is something I recently learned, and I was shocked. I was shocked and confused as to how we could have legislated this to be this way. So the way that it works is that most of the time when someone registers to vote, they're registering on the Motor Vehicle Division website, right? Sometimes they're submitting a paper form, but often you're going to Service Arizona and you're plugging in your information, and then it automatically lets you register to vote. Well, in that system, there's a check mark where non-citizens can override their non-citizen status that allows them to still register to vote. And there's a glitch that was discovered in the system. It was actually discovered in 2015, but no one decided to do anything about it until right before the election last year because they thought it would impact Republicans more than Democrats. And it was one of the glitches that they were trying to glitch people out of their vote. And so in that, it was discovered that well over 200,000 voters in Arizona that were longtime voters had not shown their proof of citizenship. And all of the election officials said, but don't worry, we are confident that everyone on this list are Arizona citizens. There's just a glitch in the system and they didn't show proof of citizenship, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. And then what we found out was that actually the issue was discovered because a non-citizen had been registered to vote. And what happens is when the recorder's office gets that electronic voter registration record, they're not allowed to see the documentary proof of citizenship. They can't review it. All they get is a little check mark in the system from the MVD that says, we super swear this person's a citizen. And that's it. So recently, the recorder went and checked, and someone from his staff said, hey, can we get the documentary proof of citizenship on this one particular voter? Because there was a voter in the primary last year that told us they're a citizen of France, and they don't know how they're registered to vote. They said, I didn't register to vote, but suddenly I'm in the system. And so I had public records requested this voter's record, hoping that would be enough to get Stephen Richard to do something about it. And the public record came back showing he filled out a jury duty form saying, yep, he's a citizen of France. So nothing could be done with it. Then we get our new recorder in office, and the MVD flag shows that this person has given their proof of citizenship to the MVD. Well, how is that even possible if he's a citizen of France? So it's really curious as to how all these glitches can keep happening, and that's the reason why we need to pass the SAVE Act. We need to have 100% proof that every person that is registered to vote is a citizen. And unfortunately, what just happened recently is that the illegitimate Attorney General, Chris Mays, just put out an opinion piece that she doesn't believe that those 200,000 voters need to actually show their proof of citizenship documentation. And if they don't, nothing will happen to them. She wrote an opinion saying that they will stay on the voter rolls as a full ballot voter. So that means that she's setting a precedent that in the future, the MVD system can just not work and just tell the recorders that everyone's a citizen, and poof, no one has to ever show proof of citizenship. And so even in Arizona, which has been considered the gold standard of election integrity when it comes to documentary proof of citizenship, is getting it wrong. So I have a few pieces of homework for you, because we can't allow this to stand in Arizona. So I'm hopeful that we're going to fire the current governor and get a new governor in, a big governor to be specific. And Easy AZ doesn't endorse candidates, but I really like big governors, so. And then we can solve some of these problems. But in the meantime, we have work to do. And the elected officials need to hear our voices. So number one, my first piece of homework for you is to take out your cell phone. And I want you to enter a phone number in there and save it, because it's going to be the number for the leader of the Senate, which is Senator John Thune. And he needs to bring this to the floor, and he needs to attach it to must-pass legislation. And so his office phone number is 202-224, I'll start over again, 202-224-2321. And he needs to get a phone call from you. Why a phone call? Because I used to work as staff at the City of Phoenix office, and the same rules apply everywhere. When you're a staffer and you start getting like 5 or 6 phone calls in a row on an issue, you start paying attention. When you start getting 10 or 20, when you start doing that across the entire country as there's a bus tour going on, you pay attention a little bit more. And so we want to call their offices, call them every single day and say, hey, today's a great day for you to attach the SAVE Act to must-pass legislation. Hey, today's a great day for you to put it on the floor for a vote. Because this is common sense, and even Democrats should support this because their voters support it. But they don't care about their voters, so we're not going to count on them. All right, so again, that phone number was 202-224-2321, 202-224-2321. Okay, the second thing is, take a picture of this right now, demandonlycitizensvote.com, and send this to all of your friends and ask them to go to this website and fill out the petition that's on that form. We're going to collect all of those petition signatures, and on September 10th have a big rally in DC. You're welcome to come. We'd love for you to be there. And then we're going to deliver those petitions to Congress, because they need to know that this is something that people in every single state care about, and especially the swing states like Arizona. So you want to go to demandonlycitizensvote.com. On that website, you can sign the petition. It will send an email to your elected officials. There's also tour dates. Look at the tour dates. If you see places that you have friends or family, tell them to come stop by. We'd love to be able to see them on the bus tour. And then get involved. There's lots of different activities that you can do that Jenny Beth is going to talk a little bit more about. We have great signs. You can do flag waving. You can do meet and greets. You can go door to door and get petitions signed in your neighborhood. And we have clipboards here. So if you haven't signed it already, Eric is going to pass around clipboards and you can sign it, and then feel free to take some forms with you and pass them around at your clubs, in your neighborhood. When friends and family come over, just say, hey, we're going to have movie night, but first you have to sign this because we need citizen-only voting. Just be obsessed with securing our elections. And I promise you, we're going to make it happen. We've made progress in Arizona. We've fired tyrants. We've gotten a good recorder in Maricopa County. We need to fire the Pima County tyrant. And we need to pass the SAVE Act. And passing the SAVE Act will go a long way. It will also make sure that our recorders are held accountable. One of the things I'll leave you with that we did last year that is a testament to how hard work can pay off is we worked with America First Legal to sue all 15 county recorders, because the Arizona law and federal law says that they must use all available resources to identify non-citizens on the voter rolls and clean them off. Well, we were able to settle that lawsuit with all 15 county recorders. We were the first state to have every county recorder engage with President Trump's administration and DHS to get access to the SAVE database. And I just heard yesterday that the SAVE database has now been had the capabilities added to it, so every county recorder can use it because they can search by the last 4 of the Social Security number. So we'll be putting out a future call to action to get your county recorders to be putting all the voter rolls through that SAVE database. But in the meantime, focus on let's getting the SAVE Act passed, and I know together we can make it happen. Thank you so much, Jenny Beth, for coming down here. The Tea Party Patriots are an amazing organization. They help keep us informed with what's going on in DC and making sure that we can stomp the swamp from all their shenanigans. And don't forget to fire tyrants. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marissa. So Marissa mentioned that you could do sign waving events. You saw the signs when you came in. Many of you have them. Feel free to take those. I'm from Florida. It's hot in Florida. It's really hot here. So sign waving events, maybe especially in the high heat of the day, may not be what you want to do. That's okay. I understand. We have to customize our calls to action for what works locally. So if that doesn't work for you, what you can do is host a meet and greet, a house party, an ice cream social, which would be really good with this heat, ice cream, and just invite your friends and family over, neighbors over, talk a little bit about the SAVE Act, have a social time, give them some ice cream, and ask them to sign the petition. And you may be wondering, well, what do I need to do, or can you help me do that? Why, yes, we can. On this website, you can sign up, and we've got training. If you decide that you are going to take action and you choose to do an ice cream social or a house party, we have training for that. If you want to go door to door and talk to your neighbors, we've got an app and we have training for that. If you want to if you want to match up your contacts in your phone to people who are likely to support this issue, which frankly is like 8.5 people out of 10, we have an app that would help you match your contacts up, and then you can just press send to send them a text message from your phone. This would be texting people who are registered voters, but people who you know who are already in your address book. We have training for all of that. If you want to go to Washington, D.C., you can sign up on our website for that as well. We'd love to have you there. I know it's a long haul, but you've got a little tiny bit of time to plan, and we'd love to have you there to go help deliver these petitions, especially to the senators from here in Arizona. You're a very important state on this issue for several reasons. because of the Supreme Court ruling, because your state already does or is supposed to require proof of citizenship to register to vote, and because you're a border state. You're getting it from all sorts of angles, and your senators need to hear from you. So I'd love to have you in Washington, D.C., but if you can't make it there, you can complete the petition online and contact your senators and your congressmen through our forum as well. We have tons of training, and we try to make activism as easy as we possibly can. Okay, that's the big part of the program. Before we go outside and you get your t-shirts, we have a few minutes and I could answer questions. So does anyone have any questions? We threw a whole bunch of stuff at you in a very short amount of time. Do you have questions about what we went over? Do you need any clarification? Yes, ma'am. Washington, D.C. will be Wednesday, September 10th. Yes. She asked, how do we get the petitions to you? On the bottom of the form, there is an email address, and if you take a picture of this form and just email it, then we can take it from there.
Yeah, it is front and back, so don't think it's just 3 or 4, whatever it is. There's a whole backside.
And what's the latest we can get them to you?
If you're sending these to us, yeah, it's on the bottom right here on the back side. If you're sending these to us, it would be really good if we can have them by September 5th, because we're going to try to type up all the names and contact info and consolidate it to make it easy to deliver. We'll need a couple days to get that done. And we try very hard. This is not... This isn't like what you need to do a petition gathering for getting an initiative, a ballot initiative. This is a First Amendment petition, and we support the First Amendment, and we want to help you exercise your First Amendment rights. And we also try, when we deliver them, we usually put first initial and last name, or first name and last initial, and the city and the state. And members of Congress know it's real, but we try to protect people's identities as we are pushing it on to DC just to help avoid doxing, which is why we need a little time to get it typed up. Any other questions?
Are you researching about the drop boxes for votes and how certain states do not want that changed?
Yeah, yes. So we are following the Dropbox issue, and we saw recently, was that in Michigan where the issue was recently? Like in the last week, a candidate allegedly was stuffing the Dropbox with ballots. Yes, we are tracking that. We work on that issue and other election integrity issues with the Election Integrity Network. And so I know they're working on it. Then we have President Trump, who just issued the Truth Social post saying that he wants to get rid of the mail-in ballots. He wants to have one day, I think he said one day voting. He wants watermarked ballots that are hand-marked. And will be helping work with getting any legislation related to that passed. We care very much about all those other election integrity issues. Many of you in this room have already seen me here in the last 4 years a few times in Tucson talking about election integrity, and also around the state and in Phoenix. The reason we're so narrowly focused on only citizens voting right now for what we're doing in the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks, is because the bill is written. It's already passed the House twice. 4 Democrats voted on it in the House, which means we did get bipartisan support. And it is so overwhelmingly supported by Americans that it should be a low-hanging fruit, and we should be able to accomplish this goal. So we're trying to get this done while also at the same time working on other pieces of legislation we can help advance either during September or at a later date.
Just really fast, I just wanted to let you know at EZAZ, we are working with America First Legal on litigation to stop the drop boxes. That litigation is currently in Yavapai County, and it's we have it on appeal, I believe.
Very good, thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Hold on.
1 second, then.
What was the name of the fella in Washington that you said for us to call?
Oh, it's Senate Majority Leader Thune, so it's Senator Thune. John Thune, Thune. Yes, we're going to do that. Okay, yes.
Hold on here, Mike. If an illegal has a tax identification number and they are in the tax ID system, does the recorder count them as valid?
They're not supposed, well, for voting, you
Yeah,
mean for voting. They're not
recorder's
supposed to.
The recorder is supposed to check the last 4 digits of a social security number to match up with that person to see if they're eligible to vote. If an illegal has a social security number, will it pass that test?
Okay. And do you match the 4 digits when you go to vote here in Arizona? In Georgia, you match your last 4 digits of your social security number for mail-in ballots. Okay. Couple things. This bill specifically is focused on, I know what you're asking, and I'm going to answer it, but I want to clarify a couple things. This bill is specifically addressing registering to vote, not voting. So we're saying show proof of citizenship to register to vote. If people get on the voter rolls and they have not shown proof of citizenship, which is happening in this state and others, and the requirement for showing that you are who you say you are when you go to vote and you show those last 4 digits, it isn't to prove citizenship, it is to prove that you are who you say you are. And yes, it can slide through, which is why we're trying to stop this from happening. Okay, now I have time. If there's one more question. Maybe there's not. Okay. All right, and if you have more and you don't want to ask in a room full of people, we'll be around. So here's what we're going to do next. Before we go outside, I need to thank a few people. First, I want to thank David and Kimberly McAllister and the Bridge Church for hosting us here. What a great church, what a great facility. Thank you very much. And they may have stepped out, but I appreciate the fact that they did that. And then I want to thank Kathleen Wynn. Where did she step over to? Because thank you. Thank you for getting the word out. Thank you for helping us with the location. This is a great event. Thank you so much for helping with that. And then Sue Ann Admister, did I get your last name right? Okay, Sue Ann is with the State Freedom Caucus Network and with the Arizona Freedom Caucus, and she has helped us throughout this entire planning, and the State Freedom Caucus has as well, so thank you very much for your help, Sue Ann. And then Marissa, thank you for everything you did to help us organize as well. Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's okay. This is Pinell County Recorder Dana Lewis, and we should hope that we get one of these someday. A Republican recorder, and conservative Republican recorder, where Abe Hamadeh got picked up some votes after you guys did.
We did it right.
Right.
We did it right.
Can I just give her a second? I'm so thrilled that you are here.
Well, I was actually training the next level of certified election officials in the state of Arizona, and so was able to swing by. I heard about this spectacular event. I apologize. I didn't get to hear the whole spiel. I'm sure it was fantastic, but if it's on recording, I'll go back and review it and then see what we can do in the future to be colleagues. The only way I'm going to learn and grow as a human being is if I'm able to listen to other people's opinions and objectives. And I think that when we're in leadership roles, being part of these conversations is what makes it better for our voters. So I thank you for your time. We do things a little bit different in Pinell County. We're still precinct-based. I do have drop boxes. I do. We have 15, but they are located on county property under recorded surveillance. And we use bipartisan people with GPS-locked containers to transfer those ballots. I take election security extremely seriously. And I believe that we have probably the most transparent facility in this nation so that you can see from the moment I get a ballot in our facility to the moment it goes to tabulation, every step of that process. If you've never been to the votes building in Pinell County, I encourage you to come down and take a tour. I will do it hands-on with you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to wrap up. What we're going to do is we wrap up, grab a t-shirt, they're out on the table there, so you can grab a t-shirt as you go. Then we're going to go over to the bus. My video guy, Luke, who is also passing the microphone around, is going to get some video of us. I'm going to talk into the camera out there. You may not be able to hear me because the bus is loud and my voice just can't get over that engine very well, but the camera will. I'll tell them where I was, what we did, and then I'll turn around to you and say, what do you want to see happen? And you can then just say, pass the SAVE Act, and we'll chant that several different times, pass the SAVE Act, pass the SAVE Act, pass the SAVE Act, and then just cheer and yell, and Luke will walk up and down and just film all of you, and then we'll do a few photos, and if you want individual photos, we can do that as well.